Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Jkun Presents. I have some more electronic cigarette stuff to show you, and I gotta tell you, I am very excited to be doing this video. But I'm gonna go ahead and give you an appetizer before I move on to the main course. So the first thing I'm going to be introducing to you is the Tuofan 1.5 milliliter Ego T transparent tank. Now what this is a tank-like cartridge. So instead of dealing with wadding or having to constantly refill a cartomizer, all you have to do is just pop the top, take out this rubber stopper here, and just fill until you get to about that line right here. And like I said, it holds around 1.5 milliliters of fluid. I mean, that's not a bad amount. Um, for me, this will last me the majority of the day before I would have to refill it. And as far as tanks go, I started out with an Ego T-Tank when I was first getting into vaping, and I thought it was a really cool idea at first, and then I started noticing just how poorly tank cartridges tend to perform. I'm pleasantly surprised that this one performs a lot better than the other ones that I've done. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a demo puff here to show you the vapor output and how everything works. As you can see, it's not a huge vapor output, but that could also be because of the type of fluid that I'm running. I run a half and half mix, 50 PG fluid, 50 BG fluid, so I can get the best of both worlds. I feel like the PG fluid has a better throat hit than the BG, so I tend to go half and half on that. Tank wise, I mean, if you don't like carrying around a mod, it's really convenient. It's very reasonably priced, and they're very durable. I've dropped this thing at least 6 or 7 times, and most plastic tank cartridges that I carry tend to break after getting dropped once or twice. So it does have durability on its side. As far as the taste of your fluid, I find that a little lacking. I get a very good throat hit, but my juice tends to come out tasting like something else. Like for the first 2 days I was vaping on this thing, I could have swore to God the thing tasted like bacon when I had just straight menthol in this thing. So I don't know if it's the design or how it evaporates the juice and everything that may change the fluid taste afterwards. That I really don't know. But let me try another one. I mean, not bad. Like the sensation, the satisfaction I'm still getting. As you can see, it's not very good at producing vapor, but it depends on what you're more worried about. Are you worried about billowing out like just gigantic plumes of vapor, or are you worried about the satisfaction of when you pull in? That way you don't go back to a regular cigarette. All in all, I mean, I'm not big on T-Tanks, at least not anymore, but I'd give this one a solid pass. I mean, it's definitely doing its job, and it's definitely worth the money to invest in these. And you can find these at vaporheads.net. They run at about $8 or $9. I mean, that's definitely worth the money. But anyway, let's move on to what I'm really excited about reviewing. Now, y'all have heard of me talk about this once before in my other review video of the ProVari. And I gotta say, I did not expect to get one so soon, but sometimes fortune smiles on you. So without any further ado, here it is, folks. The lava tube. The other mostly sought after variable voltage e-cigarette out on the market. It's also going under the name of the Night Rider, and I gotta say, I really have very little negative to say about this thing. I love this thing to death. I'll go over some of the specifics with you. It has a readout. I don't know if you can see it all that well. Yeah. It has a readout right here where if you change the voltage, it'll light up. Now you're not going to be able to see that readout from the video, but it has a readout here that allows you to change the voltage up and down any way you want, anywhere from 3 volts all the way up to 6, just like the ProVari. Now, what it has over the ProVari is the fact that instead of one button controlling everything, it actually has a series of buttons right here. It has a lower voltage button and a higher voltage button. Let me get that back in focus here. There are the two buttons right there where you can just dial the voltage up and down at ease, no problem whatsoever. And also, like the ProVari, it also has a power button, but instead of clicking the button several times to get to that function on the device, it actually just has a power button right here, so you can turn it on and off all you want. And the placement of the activation button is actually on the side of the device, which I don't dislike that, but at the same time, I'm not used to it. It's neither bad nor good. But one thing I definitely loved about this over the ProVari is that, I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it's got that nice clicky mechanical button, so you know it's activating every single time. But I'm going to give this a demo puff, just like I did with the other one. Still rocking my cartomizer tank. This is what I tend to prefer over everything else. And currently rocking it at about 5 volts. That's my happy zone when it comes to vaping, is around 5 volts. It's not too hot, but it gets it warm enough to where I'm getting a fantastic throat hit, and the vapor output is just amazing. So here we go. As you can see, it does a fantastic vapor output, but that's more the cartomizer than anything else. Now let's go into a little more specific about this. One thing I will have to point out, it doesn't affect performance at all, but nevertheless it draws a little bit of concern with me. On the cartomizers that I use, it doesn't screw down all the way so that the threading is flush with the end of the cartomizer. Like I said, it doesn't really affect performance, but nevertheless, something like that tends to concern me every now and then. I've been messing with it ever since I got it, and I've yet to see a lack in performance or have that hinder performance. So I guess that's really nothing to worry about. I just figured it would be relevant to point out. Now the batteries that it runs your standard 18650 battery at around 2200 mAh, I want to say. Let's double check that real quick. Yeah, 2200 mAh, milliamps per hour. And I gotta say, I got this on a Thursday, and the first battery didn't die off on me until well into Sunday afternoon. And that's with me literally puffing on it all day, every day. So battery longevity is actually fantastic on this. Now, as far as the design goes, the entire midsection is metal, so it's definitely durable. It can take some punishment, but the end caps are actually plastic, and I never really understood why it did that, why they designed it that way, but it doesn't affect performance, and I mean, it's still got a good weight to it. I like a device with a good amount of weight to it. But back to the batteries, it comes standard with 2200 mAh 18650 batteries, but you can also use the 1600 models, or I have an Ultrafire 2600 mAh battery right here. Now you can use a higher mAh battery on it, but I'll go ahead and show you right here. Just put it right inside and screw it together. Now, the end cap is not going on all the way, but as you can see, go ahead and screw my tank back on. I wonder if it's regulated. Yeah, it's regulated it. Got to put it back to 5 volts. The end cap not being on all the way with a bigger battery doesn't affect performance at all. But what you just saw right there, if you take the battery out and say you have it set at a certain voltage, if you take that battery out, and put it back in, it automatically resets it back to 3 volts. So if you don't know that right away, just and you can't figure out what's going on, check with the voltage buttons. Check them out. You're going to have to reset your voltage every time you put in a new battery. It's not going to save the voltage like the ProVari does. But one thing that it does have up over the ProVari is the fact that there are different types of cartomizers and atomizers out there. Um, Everything from a different ohm output to low resistance to high resistance. But not all of them. They're not all universal. Like if I put on a low resistance atomizer on the ProVari at around 5 volts. A low resistance atomizer can't handle that type of voltage. It'll actually error out and give you an error code on the readout display. And you have to go and figure out which one it is and then go, okay, it can't handle that type of voltage. And then you got to crank the voltage down or use a different atomizer or cartomizer that can handle that type of voltage. One thing that the lava tube does is it will automatically detect um, which atomizer or cartomizer that you're using. And if the voltage is too high for that piece, it'll actually regulate it down to a voltage that it can handle. And it does it automatically without you having to press any buttons. So that is actually a fantastic feature of the Knight Rider. So using this, like I said, very excellent battery life, very easy to use, nice good weight to it, fantastic clicking mechanical button, nice and loud clicking noise so you know it's working every single time. Um, Definitely get it. If you're looking for a variable voltage device that is significantly cheaper than the ProVari, in case you don't have that kind of money to play with, this is definitely a more affordable device and it's just as good of a performance piece as the ProVari, if not in some aspects a lot better. Now, both of the products that I've shown you right now, you can find at www.vaporheads.net, and he's got some fantastic deals. I've shopped with him before. He's really good, very easy to work with, and he's got a massive, massive menu of things that you can try out. So definitely head over to there, give it a shot if you want to pick one up. I will say right now, if you're looking to pick one up, pick them up immediately because websites all over the world run out of these things very, very fast. But that's all I got for you today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.